Right. Hello, everybody. I should shortly be coming onto screen. Just making sure we're in a good frame. Looks like it. Nice. Right. Welcome everybody. Hopefully, let's see. Maybe you are starting to read what's on the screen right now. Hi, Bill, sunny Boston. Tim, Melbourne. Welcome, buddy. Gislin, Northern California. Crikey, you guys are warming up here. New Zealand's cooling down. Okay, so let me explain. I was going to do this a couple of weeks ago. No, a couple of weeks ago I said I was going to do this workout. And so it's not so much a workout, although we will make it a workout. It really just comes from a lot of the questions that people ask around using the machine. And one of them is the drag factor. Okay, so what we're going to do today is we're going to do a bit of an experiment while we change our drag factor. I've been tossing up and down around the rating that we're going to do it at. So we're just going to keep it relatively easy today. We'll just do it at like 22 strokes a minute. But so what we've got, and I didn't actually write it up there. Maybe I should write it up there. Here we go. We've got, here's my thing. There is 19 pieces total. Okay, 19 pieces total. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to start off. We'll do a bit of a warm up. So I've done a little bit already, but you guys can possibly start doing it now. I'll do a couple more minutes before we start. So what we're going to do is we're going to start off and we're just going to do a 60 seconds at 22 strokes a minute with our drag factor on number 5. Okay. Then we've got a 20-second rest period. So this workout, it's going to be close, like it's going to be 30 plus. What are we going to get up to? We're going to get up around sort of the 30-minute mark with total. But what it's actually just doing is it's giving you an appreciation of how to use the drag on your machine. Okay, and so a lot of people are like, what do I use? How do I use it? This is just like a snapshot into going, maybe I should experiment a little bit more. Maybe I should do some workouts with it at higher or lower. And so today we do 60 seconds with it on 5. We've only got a 20-second rest period, so we don't want to cool down too much. And in that time, we're just going to put it into the middle of 6. Okay, now we do another minute. Then we put it up to 7. Then we go to 8, then we go to 9, then we go to 10, and then we go back down the scale. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and then we go 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so we go back up the scale. Now what's going to happen is, while we're doing that 20 strokes a minute, we want to have good push. It doesn't need to be max. We want to have a good solid intent, okay? As if we were going to do like 8 or 10 minutes of a good solid pace, that sort of region. And so we'll do that for that minute. Change it, and you'll start to feel, as soon as we do the first one, you'll be like, oh, this is heavier. So what does that mean? Do I have to hang a bit more? Is it too heavy for me? Or do I actually like that weight that comes onto it? Okay, and then we'll go right up the scale to 10. 10 is going to be very hard. If you've never really done sort of workouts at 10, it's going to be pretty hard. And then when we get right back down the scale to number 1, it's going to be real fast. Okay, so that 22, you'll feel hardly any resistance on the chain. The leg speed's going to be like a rocket. We're just going to like, boof, push the legs down, and we're going to have patience forward. Bang, do it again. Then we'll go back up the scale. So you'll start to slowly feel that pressure and that resistance build up again on the body and on the pressure. Okay, and what all the overriding thing about today is just to find out you as a person, because I can sit here and say to you guys, right, let's do 28, 30 rating, 32 rating. And you might be like, you know what, I'm maxed at 30. I'm maxed at 28. You know, that's where I feel the most comfortable. But what you could do is go, well, why don't I try and do that 28 rating with a little bit more drag, a little bit more resistance, and that's going to actually make you go faster. You're going to get better numbers. Okay, so it depends on your strength, depends on your age, dare I say it depends on your sex. That all is a factor in what you do with the drag factor on the right-hand side of your machine. Okay, the one thing we can't do today We can, if you have, the problem is you guys are watching me, so you'll probably have your phone on there. If you had your erg data set up, you can actually see what the actual drag factor is as a number. Okay, but today we're just going to go off the fact that hopefully everybody's machines are being maintained. Hopefully you have. There's not too much dust inside the flywheel. And so what that's going to do is it's just going to give us a good appreciation of that drag, okay, and how it goes. So hopefully, I don't know if we've got any questions on that. No, okay, cool. So I'm assuming that you guys completely understand this. We'll run through it again just before we start. But what we'll just do now is we just want to do a couple of minutes of warm up. I'm going to need some power on my phone. I've been watching too much golf. And I'll just set that up down here. There we go. Just making sure you guys are seeing me properly. That's about all. Okay, so just do a good couple of minutes now, getting warmed up. Just get the bodies loose. As I say, the first couple are going to make us warm into it a little bit. And I thought about going a little bit higher with the rating, but just for today in this experiment, I think if we go around that 22, we shouldn't have too much loss of form. You should get that quite appreciation of the hang, because as we get a little bit quicker with the rating, you know, we don't set up off the back as quick. You know, we shorten up a little bit around the front. So this is giving us sort of the overall length of stroke that we want to achieve. Okay. So I'll be giving good technical pointers again, but this workout is for you guys to just think about how you've got your machine set, whether you need to think about changing how you're doing it. And sort of just getting that comfort for your training, okay? Because we all use the machine in slightly different manners, whether it's our sole training piece of equipment, whether it's in addition to other things, whether we like racing, whether we don't do racing, whether this is for on-water rowing or not. It's all part of the mix. And so why we need to have a little bit of stab at what we're doing. I will just say that if you have done a little bit of drag work before and you currently sit, say, on 3, maybe even whatever it is, maybe just start with it down there. We're all doing the same time, and just maybe go from 3 up to 7 or 8. So just do the last bit of this warm up around that 22. Looking for good speed. Okay, so keep trucking a little bit. As I say, I did some warm up before you guys arrived. Okay, so I'll run through this one more time. We're basically, I've overcomplicated it on the screen, obviously. We're doing 60 seconds on by 20 seconds off 19 times, okay? It's as simple as it goes. I probably should have just written that and it would have been fine. Okay, but every time we change, we're going to be changing our drag on the right-hand side. That's as easy as it goes. Okay, so don't need to think too much. We'll just set the machine up 60-second by 20-second rest. Just do the intervals, and then we're just going to get into it. Okay, good solid push, nice rhythm, 22 rate, and then every change we're going to change it up. So it'll be okay for the first little bit. Geez, I can hear myself talking. Who's that idiot down there? So for the first few, it shouldn't be too bad, but then it will change and it will start to get quite difficult through sort of our 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th piece. Then it will start to get back to sort of some similarities of what you're normally doing. And then it's going to go into some foreign territory down the bottom, which you probably haven't done before. And that's going to be some real fast speed stuff. So at the same time as we're doing this, just keep an eye on your splits. Okay, so imagine we're just doing this good pace. As I say, we're not going max. We're just doing good solid push, good rhythm. At that 22, look at your numbers, okay? And all of a sudden, what might happen is you might go up to the 7 or the 8, and you're doing a way better number, but is it sustainable? And you'll go, look, shit, I could have only held that for 3 or 4 minutes. Okay, and that's what we want to find out by doing this thing today. And then when we go down to sort of 1 and 2, you'll probably find your splits very slow because you just can't push the speed of this machine fast enough. Okay, so we'll talk about it as we go along. As I say, we don't have much time in between. So in between changing that and trying to have a drink and getting the sweat off, you might have to find that you're going to have to do it pretty efficiently. Okay, so maybe have a quick, good drink before we kick off, because it's probably going to be the last one you get until when you get near the finish. Okay, and don't cheat. Don't stop early. Right, okay, so let's go. Select workout, new workout. We're going intervals time. Just leave that on the 1 minute and just go down to that rest period of 20 seconds. Now, I thought about doing it a little bit longer, yes, but we still want to make this quite a good workout. Even though we're experimenting a bit, if we had left it out to 30 seconds, I think what's going to happen is we're going to take a little bit too long to get into the rhythm. I thought about maybe doing 30 seconds and pushing it out to 90 seconds work, but then I thought that the workout might end up a little bit long. So I think this is going to be the best way for us to approach this, okay? So as I say, we'll talk about it along the way. So set your machine now onto level 5 on the drag, on your flywheel. As I say, if you normally are down, say, on that 3 or 4, maybe just leave it on that. But ultimately what this is just looking at what the drag does to our stroke, to our intensity, to the physicality, and also basically to our speed at the same time. Okay, so one piece of advice, like me, I think I can move it a little bit, or else you can actually just use your handle, tap it up a bit, okay, while we're in the off. So we'll do that quickly and then we're back into it again. Okay, so, geez, what did that reset? Okay, so set time 1 minute, rest time 20 seconds, click the OK button. Let's give it 15 seconds odd, just in case anyone's mucked up the setup, or else I've sat here too long, yarning away. Okay, at 22 strokes a minute. We're going to do all of these at 22 strokes a minute. Okay, so level 5, 60 seconds, 20-second rest, going up each time, 22 strokes a minute. Are you ready? Rope. So just a good solid speed. You know, if we were going to do 5 or 6 minutes at a good solid pace at 22, looking for good speed on the clock. Just looking for that good hang, a good rhythm. So this should feel reasonably normal, okay? It's what we've always been doing our training at. We've got the hang, the weight, the pushing the legs and the body. Okay, good. So quick change up, put that drag up to that 6. Okay, now we should all be done. Now you'll even feel now, it'll feel slightly a bit heavier. Okay, let's move into it. Now, so we're going to look to try and get this rhythm quite quickly. You should already feel there's more resistance, okay? Now feel the hang, feel the push, then the swing. Good. Yeah, good rhythm. See, now we've got a little bit used to that resistance. We've got the legs driving the body, arms coming, brushing the body. Okay, good. Okay, so, and again, you're really going to notice it in the first 10, 15 seconds. Here we go. Now, yeah, now you should really feel there's a lot of resistance. As you're pushing, it feels like there's not really any acceleration. Okay, hang, sitting tall, resist the temptation to take it in the shoulders. Keep the hang. Okay, good push. You'll feel the legs all the way through the stroke. Good, hang. Legs off the body. Like that. Legs driving that body. Okay. Now we're up on 8. Okay. One more. So now you really feel quite a bit of weight on the handle. Here we go. Breathe into it and push. Feel the hang. Now that should be quite heavy. We've got the hang. Now focus the leg drive. There's a lot of resistance against the legs as we drive all the way. Still having good hands around the back. Letting that chain take us forward. Good. Yeah, good. Okay. Feel that push. Long arms. Okay, nice. Right, we're up on 9. Now you're really going to see the difference now. It's getting quite heavy. Oh, the leg time, the time and the speed of the drive. Here we go. Now. All the air is just going straight out of the machine. So you might not find your numbers are pretty good, But how long is this sustainable for? This is great for building strength, for doing specific workouts. Or it may be perfect for you as a person. Okay? You can feel the legs all the way through the stroke. Right, all the way to the top. Okay, now we're on max drag. Okay, so let's move the hands. Get back into the rhythm. Here we go. Now, feel the hand, feel the legs. Make sure they don't slow down through the drive. Very heavy. Lock the arms out. See if they can feel like they're getting pulled out of the socket as we push away. See, I've got better speed there. I could only do this for a couple of minutes. So back down to 9. So I'm sure you felt that. So as we go back down the scale now, just feel each time the timing of the drive, the leg speed and acceleration, yep, will start to get slowly easier, okay? So good solid push. Good numbers. Sitting tall, around the front. Feel the hang. You should feel the pressure on the feet as we push for a long period of time. Relaxing the shoulders. Hands around the finish. Good. So back down to 8. The one thing I find at that 9 and 10, because the drive's so slow, it's hard to keep that rhythm around the finish and turn. Okay, and my rating keeps dropping. Here we go. Yeah. So now you should feel a little bit more acceleration in the feet and the legs from what it was up on 10. Feel the hang. Keep focusing that hang. The hang is one way that's going to depict how easy and sustainable we can work out at different drags. Feeling on the feet and the drive. Good. Hit push. Okay. Back to 7. Okay, good workout, guys. Team, ladies, gents. Here we go. Yep. So now with that push, you should feel the difference again in acceleration, but also the pickup speed, because the flywheel's still moving around the front. It's not going to be heavy. So as we start to go down the scale, we've got to be even sharper around the front. Still a bit of resistance on the legs and the hang. Nice. Good. Okay, down one. I'm on 6. Okay, so back. It's going to feel even different again. Here we go. Now. Now you should feel even more acceleration. It's a lot easier to hang under the armpits. The speed of the body coming off the legs a little bit quicker. Nice. Good momentum and swing, leg speed. Okay, back to 5. So now we're starting to get back around the regions that we're normally doing our work, okay? And you should notice, think back to what we were doing about 5 minutes ago. Here we go. Now we've got the push. This should feel quite accelerated to the finish. Remember that momentum around the back. The front end should feel a lot different in terms of pickup. So let's focus that front end from now. It's going to be way more important as we start going down even further. The pickup, the speed of the legs. We want to find the right ratio between the power that we produce and the speed that the legs can go down and the amount of time that we can do it for. Good. So keep focusing that front, because the flywheel is going to keep spinning, because we're shutting the wheel and all the air staying inside it. Here we go. Yep. So even now, for me, that feels a lot different. It feels very accelerated. Speed's still pretty good. I can feel the quickness around the front. The hang almost feels effortless. Rolling into the front, big push. Good. Nice. Okay, so really feel that. Okay, it's a big change. We've gone from real heavy through some normality. Now we're getting into some real speed stuff here. Okay, we've got to keep the rhythm and the rate. Yeah. This is where we're probably going to find it quite difficult to hold the rating down. So let's focus the front. Patience with the chain coming forward. But still having that intensity on the drive. And as you can see, it's so much quicker. Yeah, drive and swing. Right, down to 2. So once again, this is going to feel even different again. Okay. Always remembering, feel that what you have to do to be able to try and hit your splits. Okay, here we go. Now, so the pressure we normally put on, but it's just so fast. Okay, everything moves quicker. Remember, resist the temp at the front, to pull, still keep the hang. Good. Good flow. Feel how light and quick that is. Hang. Good round the back. Okay, right, all the way to the bottom. Now, if you've never been down here, because you haven't experimented, just remember, so let's start to firm. Remember, keep that intent on the legs to try and get your speed. Here we go. Yep. Feel the push. Okay, pretty quick. Trying to keep the rate down. Hang. Okay, good. Even still, trying to keep it more. Very difficult. I'm finding it bloody hard to have that patience as the drive timing's so quick. Okay, so back up to 2. Okay, so just feel how fast it was and trying to hit your numbers. The intent you've got to put on the legs and how quick it is. Okay, here we go. Now, so as we go back up, it'll be the same as what happened on the way back down. We'll start to slowly feel a bit more resistance in the hang and the legs. So if we're trying to get the same sort of split, we've really got to punch these legs down. Accelerate through the hips. Right. Back up to 3. So keep feeling that. Feel this resistance, keep adding on. Okay, now we're going to start in this last little bit. Here we go. So good intensity. Feel the push. Somewhere in the next 3 or 4, sorry, the next 3, we'll probably find where our optimal sort of feeling, hang speed, drive speed. Good rhythm. Around the fun on the feet. Good. Okay, nice. Right, up into 4. Okay, we've got 2 more of this to do. Then I'm going to throw in a couple more, okay? Here we go. So really feel the length, feel that resistance. Both feet, feel the rhythm. Okay, feel the hang. And feel the speed of the drive. Have a think. Do the legs feel like they're going down too fast, too slow? Just right for this to be sustainable for a long period of time? Okay, good. Right, back to where we started. Okay, on to 5. So we're going to do this last one, and then we're going to have 2 more of your choice to experiment. Here we go. Now, so nice and loose. Feel the relaxation. Remember, have a think. How does this feel? How's the hang? How's the speed? How's the rhythm? Does it feel like we're going to burn out? Does it feel sustainable? Does it feel loose? How does the ratio of the drive, pressure to acceleration feel? Okay, good. Now go from there, go back to something that you think was better than what you've currently been rowing on, okay? I'm going to actually go up a little bit, okay, and just do the minute at that. Doesn't have to be a whole split, okay? Here we go. It might be halfway in between something. Might have been halfway between 3 or 4, okay? Now just settle into it. Breathing on the 22. Feel Feel the flow. Feel the rhythm. Good. Good. Hang. Both feet. Okay, good. Now the last one, if you think that was good, you're like, actually, I like that. Change it again. If you don't, wherever you need to, just trying to find maybe our new normal. And let's do this last piece at 26 strokes a minute, okay? So here we go. Coming now. Remember, move the hands. Take 10 seconds to build into that rate. Okay, here we are. Now hang. Move the hands. Now stay relaxed. Breathing. Feel the hang. Feel the push. The rhythm. A little bit more time to feel that hang. Armpits. Push. Around the front. Both feet. Good. Nice. Good. Okay. Great work, team. If you want, try another minute, or else just click the menu. We'll save that into the memory. And what we can actually do is, if we were focused a lot around our technique, and we probably missed a little bit of watching our numbers, we can go back over the workout and actually have a look, and you might see that there's a point where the speed drops off or the speed increases, because ultimately all we were trying to find was like an equilibrium. Okay, somewhere where you feel comfortable. And the only way, when everybody asks, what drag should I be, what drag should I be, what drag should I be, is doing something like this, okay? Now what we could do is from that, from what we just did here, and you personally, you can sit on your machine and you can go, okay, I want to do 5 minutes at 20, 22, 24, whatever it is, at the rating that I'm currently using, the drag that I'm currently using. And you do that and you go, okay, felt pretty good. Change it to something that you want to experiment with. Do it again, same rating, same test. And then you go, maybe I'll try it a little bit even further. Do another 5 minutes. Then go back to what you had, which is now you're getting into 20 minutes. And then maybe change it again. So what's actually happening is that it's fine to do it when you're nice and fresh and you go, oh, I felt way stronger. Yeah, way stronger. But what happens when you get 30 minutes down the track and you're starting and you're like, man, my shoulders are sore because I've had to hang a lot more. The muscles aren't used to it, or I just didn't have the acceleration, so my legs slowed down because it was too heavy. All of those different factors come into it when you're trying to look at what your drag is. Okay, now the best thing about what you're going to be able to do when you're not listening to me, even though I want you to be listening to me all the time, is that if you put on your erg data and you put it above your screen or beside you, whatever you've got, there's an option on there where you can watch the drag factor. Okay, so you can see the physical number, because ultimately the number on the machine is very variable depending on where you are, how old the machine is, how clean the machine is, okay? Whereas when we can have the number in front of us, you can look at it and you can go, 122 drag factor is my money shot, okay? That's where I am creaming it. It's amazing. It's beautiful. And that's what you want to know, and maybe it's 119, maybe it's 118. Maybe you're sitting there and you do these 5-minute pieces and 115 feels a little bit quick, 125 feels too fast, too heavy, 120, yep, that's good. And then you might go, well, why don't I try 118? Why don't I try 121, 122? Okay, now even the smallest difference in drag factor can actually make a difference in what you are, okay? And then to even further this out, not trying to complicate it at all, is as you get fitter, it might slightly change again, okay? And then the more speed work you do, you might actually find that if you can push your drag factor up a little bit because you're now a little bit stronger, you're fitter, and you can handle the rating, that the further up you go, it does allow you to produce a little bit more watts each stroke, okay? So that was us today. I want to have a look, see any comments on that. Wow, look at all the comments. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, so Rachel, the one thing is, we always see the comments and people are always asking, what do you row your drag on, and what do you, blah, blah, blah. It's such a personal preference to people that I can't tell people what they should and shouldn't be doing. Now, I know that there's specifics around the world in terms of programs, and I know down here in New Zealand that all the men have to do 130, and I think all the girls are 120, 125, whatever it is. And what that just does is it allows, because if you do have the drag factor a little bit lower, as we did it there, right? You saw how fast it was and how speedy, like the leg speed had to be. Now, if you can handle rating quite high on the machine, you do less watts per stroke, but you just do a shitload more strokes. So if you can rate really high, like say you could rate 42 for a 2K, 6 minutes or whatever, or less, then you're actually only doing, say, 380 watts a stroke, which is less power per stroke, but you're just doing more of them. Whereas a bigger guy, myself, I'm rating 36 and I'm holding 450 watts a stroke. Okay, so we could probably do the same time. And what they're just trying to do is normalize it so that you actually don't get people that can, because you can't rate, well, you can nowadays, but the idea was, especially on the water, was not to be able to, people couldn't rate 42 the whole way in a race. Lightweights can, heavyweights, yeah, not so much. Verbal Dave helped a lot understanding of the machine. Yeah, so like that, as I say, I've been thinking about doing that workout for a while just to really get an idea around it. Now, the other thing that you can do from this is, as part of your programming, and I haven't really been following any sort of strict programming myself because I've just been getting on and, maybe I'll do this today, maybe I'll do that today. Now, as part of a programming, if you're wanting to set yourself a target or set yourself a goal, I do recommend doing some power stroke sort of stuff in terms of your training, because it does help build muscle. Now, if you're not lifting weights or you're only doing a little bit of weights, maybe once a week, whatever it might be, this is a great way to be able to do it, and it's in the rowing motion, okay? So it's going to make you better on the rowing machine. So all you need to do, say, for example, you sit at 4 for your drag, and that's what you do all your work on, go up to 7 and just do like 4 3-minute pieces and just increase the rate every time. Okay, so start off at 24, 26, 28. And if you can do 30 holding that, you'll just be like, man, I'm cooked. Okay, and then take it back down and do a couple more back on your normal drag at the same ratings again. And you'll be like, wow, such a difference. But what it's done is it's helped build a little bit of muscle while you're in that rowing technique. And that's basically why we used to do a lot of power stroke workout stuff on the machine, because it just helps. We needed to be strong in a rowing motion. And the only way to get strong in a rowing motion is to load the rowing motion. Okay. Colin, yeah, nice to play the upper end of the damper. Yeah. It is crazy, eh? Like I found up on 9, my speeds were actually really good, but man, I could not hold that for very long. I reckon 3 or 4 minutes at that sort of 22, and I'd be puffing even harder. And it really does show. Mitchell, just finished a marathon and trained at a lower drag. How long to get back to my usual training drag factor? Not sure, mate. You just got to keep working on it. And it shouldn't take too long, because what you've obviously been doing is trying to find, say, an equilibrium, which is what we try and find on here. If you were doing a marathon at like 26 rate strokes a minute, the whole thing with training on a machine is you've got to do a lot at low, you've got to do some at mid, you've got to do some at high. And so it's just building back up and putting that factor in there at all of those different things. And you'll slowly build into it. Brett, thanks, Eric. Enjoyed learning that workout. Yep. Mike, never try going up and down like that. Really does make a difference in comfort. Yeah, and as I say, guys, the other thing we can do, and I implore you guys to do it as well, is to do some workouts at heavy drag and some at low drag, because it does help. Even you don't have to go to the extremes and go, okay, I'm going to go all the way to 10 and all the way to 1. But even if you do sit in middle of drag, if you go, say, 2/3 up or 1/3 down, so now you're on sort of 2.5, you'll notice there's such a huge difference in the speed of the leg drive and the sort of the whip of the body that comes off the acceleration of the leg. So all of that is doing, well, maybe I do some pieces where I do there, and you just change them at different rates. And it's just building muscle, but it's also building speed, because ultimately it's going to make whatever you do, it's just adapting your body. That's why we train. Training is just adaptation. And it's the easiest way to be able to do it. Carlos was on a static today. Seemed like difference. Yeah. Yes. Yeah. I know what you mean. It does feel different on here. The dynamic drag factor, just because of the way the movement is on a dynamic, it's all legs, right? Well, mainly legs are the main driving force. Whereas on this, you still got legs driving body. So yes, the drag factor on the dynamic will actually feel slightly different than this. Tim, will some teachings for marathon training be added to asensei? Well, yes, mate, we're working. I am actually quite interested in doing a marathon program. It's a crazy ass thing doing a marathon. A lot about doing a marathon. Anyone that wants to try one, it's just time on the machine, and it's just time getting uncomfortable, but it's just time finding a sweet spot. But the other part about it, like, I think most people could do a half marathon, and I comfortably think anybody could just jump on a machine, set the machine to, 21:09.7, 096, whatever, and just do a marathon. Okay, might take you anywhere between an hour and 7 minutes, which is a world record that I still hold. Good luck if you can do that. Anywhere up to sort of hour and a half, 90 minutes, 100 minutes, maybe up to 2 hours. But you can sit on there comfortably, just tick it along, tap it along, don't have to work too hard, and you can get it done. A marathon changes differently, because now you've got to start talking about nutrition, and you've got to start talking about long training sessions where you're starting to fatigue, and then you've got to do a little bit more and stuff like that. Hi, Eric. Any recommendations on how often should do power stroke experiments or something? So it's really, this experiment was just to calibrate, as you wrote there, Paul, on finding what you think should be your factor. Okay. And as I said right at the start when I was wrapping this up, that it does, you might find that it changes over time. As you get fitter, stronger, whatever, it goes up or it might come down depending on the work that you've been doing. But I do implore people to possibly do once a week, maybe once every 2 weeks. For what, like when I was full training, we'd do them at least once a week, sometimes twice a week. And it just does help build that strength in the rowing motion. So if you can put one, maybe it's once a week, and then for 2 weeks, and then you have a 2-week break, and then once, whatever it might be. But I do think that you should do it. And it doesn't, the whole thing is you can do it at low rates and just load it up, or you can do it at a middle rate, like a 24 and a 26, and bring the time back. You could just do minute on, minute off, and just increase the rate and go 24 for 2 or 3 of them, 26, put them up. But what I do think you should do, so everybody that is thinking about doing some power strokes, go up, load it, and then go back and right at the end, do 1 or 2 pieces at what you normally do it. And you will just be like absolutely amazed at the difference. And you'll just be like, wow, I feel incredible. And not trying to make this go too long, but there was a period of time where a lot of people would go out, and when they were doing warm-ups for races on the water, they do some power strokes with bungees, because what it does is it's all about muscle memory and eccentrics and stuff like that. Whereas it's heavy, it's loaded. And the moment you take it off, it's like, boof, fast power. Okay, now whether that's a placebo effect because it does change so much, but I know there was a lot of people, even internationally, that were doing that and getting a different feeling from it. So next time you do a power stroke workout, do that, but right at the end, the last couple of pieces that you do, no matter what you're doing, go back to what you normally have it on and just feel the difference and go, wow, okay, and it'll be a big change. Okay, David, why did New Zealand settle on 130? No bloody idea. It's been there ever since I was a young buck. So 20-something years ago, came in and they said, when you do a test, you do it on this, and that's it. Jason, how long does it take to build up decent calluses? My hands really start to blister around 6K. Yeah, it won't take too long. And to be fair, give me 1 second. Here we go. So you can buy the same tape that I use on the bottom of my heels here is this stuff. It's a 3M tape. It's like a strapping tape. Now, you can buy it in thick, or you can buy it in this here. And what I used to do is I used to buy this roll, do this, split it in half, okay, and blister. And this stuff's quite waterproof and it's quite sticky, and it hurts like a bugger. Put it on your hand like that, straight over top of the blister of the callus, and it still allows you to be able to hold on. Okay, and because you're going to get blisters, you're going to get calluses, they're going to take a little bit of time. It just is the nature of the beast. But this stuff here will stay on, and it will work through sweat, it'll work through water, you name it. Really, it's good sticky stuff. And as I say, same stuff as I use on the bottom there. Okay, thanks team. Great workout. We'll definitely do some more like power stroke workouts in the future. I think there's some maybe over on my YouTube from years gone by. And yeah, we'll definitely, I'll make sure that as a sensei, we're plugging some of those into our programming and stuff like that as well. So all the best. Thanks everyone for tuning in, and we'll see you next week. Peace.